The next time you come up, pause there and see if you can find a balance point where the toes are just touching down. Notice the spine, see if you can create a little length there and start to rock from sit bone to sit bone. Let the shoulders be soft. The feet can separate any amount that feels comfortable. And then we'll wake up the arms a little bit. So karate chop with the left hand behind you. So the pinky side, hiya. And notice how that sends a signal up the back of the arm through the triceps into the shoulder and the back body. And those are the muscles that we want supporting us. The next time the hand touches down, pause there. Let the fingertips ever so gently touch. Keep the knuckles light. Bend the elbow a couple times, getting really springy in the arm. The hand can come away from the floor as you bounce. And the next time you bounce, lift the arms overhead and notice the difference between right and left sides. Maybe there's a tingling or a buzzing or a lightness. And then we'll go to the other side. So karate chopping with the other hand. Take a few of those. You can, maybe I shouldn't have said karate chop. You can be as gentle as you want to be. And then the next time the pinky touches down, trace the effort up into the triceps. It's the back of the arm, into the shoulder, and keep the front of the body nice and soft and open. And then fingertips touch down, but the knuckles stay really light and buoyant. Bend the elbow. Make sure it's bending in towards the body, and then take your springs. The next time you spring, reach both arms up. Let the shoulders and elbows be soft, and notice any spaciousness through the arms. You can wiggle your fingers a little bit as if energy was emanating from each one. And then release the hands behind you. Any angle is fine as long as the wrists and palms feel comfortable. I like my hands turned out pretty generously. Bring the soles of the feet together, and just like we did on the back, let the knees gently float open, but don't let go completely. So there's a sense of the inner thighs working and integrating into your deep core. And then kick one heel out at a time, letting it glide across your blanket. Just a wide Paschimottanasana, so not quite a straddle. Bend one elbow at a time, swaying from side to side. And then cross the right ankle in front of the left. Plant the left hand behind you. Lift the right hand and slowly rotate to the left so that you can pivot to a tabletop. Nice. Just like we practiced with our karate chops, shift the weight from palm to palm, keeping most of it in the pinky side of the hand. And then slowly lower one elbow at a time, so you're on your forearms. Extend the left leg out into a half plank and allow the, right leg out. Right leg out, let the left knee slide in a little bit and take a, did I mess up again? Okay. Right leg back, left knee forward. Okay. It's good to switch sides a bunch. I did that on purpose. Push down into the left shin, taking a moment to let the left side of the body energize. Notice the left side starting to get warm, and let the hips gently sway from side to side. And then bring the right knee in and out a couple of times just to demand a little bit more of the left side, but try to relax. Try to soften and find the path of least resistance, even though this is asking a lot of the left side. The next time everything stretches out, play with lifting the right leg and notice the engagement through the back of the hip. Cross the right leg over the left. Come back up onto the hands. The left leg's probably nice and warm now. Make some circles with the hips, massaging out the left leg. Make sure you can breathe. Let yourself soften. The next time the weight shifts forward into the left knee, push down into the left knee, push down into the left hand, and slowly slide the right leg back. Let the whole right side of the body open and stack into a quarter moon, and let yourself get really spacious and light here. And then release, so you're facing your blanket once again, and we'll go through that sequence again, and I'll talk you through it. So first, lower onto the forearms. Notice the left shin, notice the work happening in the deep core, and play with hovering the right foot and setting it back down. And take a couple of pulses here, noticing how the left leg warms as you do this. You can sync it with the breath, exhaling to lift. And then slide the right knee behind the left, come back onto the hands, and start to circle the hips, massaging, relaxing, but still feeling strong. We want to feel softer in the movements where we're exerting, and we want to feel a little stronger in the movements when we're releasing, to find balance, so we're not just swinging from one extreme to the next. The next time the weight shifts forward, push down into the left knee and left hand. Let the body open. Pause, breathe. Wobbles are okay as long as you feel safe. And then we'll add one thing on, releasing the hand, squaring off to the mat. The legs are staggered. Tuck the toes under. Push into the hands, lift the left knee, and start to send the hips up and back. I know that the hands tend to slide on blankets. Just don't go as far, and be okay with that. Let yourself be where the environment is allowing you. Sway the hips a little bit. And then gently release the knee back down. And I forgot to tell you to go to the next track. So you could pause and go to the next track for the last round of this side, and then we'll do the second side. So for the last round, we start with our leg lifts. And we want the left knee to be slightly forward of the hip, and that's going to force us to use the glute on the right side, which most of us benefit from. Next time the leg lifts, slide it behind the other leg and make your hip circles. And then as the weight shifts into the left knee, push down into left knee, left hand, opening up, getting light and spacious. Oh, this is not the right. Maybe exit and try again. This isn't the right playlist. Release back down, staggered down dog, releasing any sense of doership. The blanket forces you to release doership. You can't overdo it here. I love it. And then set the left knee down, set the right knee down, let the knees go wide, and slide the hands forward, hips to heels. Take a moment to soften and notice the work on the left side of the body. We did a lot of strengthening paired with massaging, and so you might feel some space, some energy flowing. And whatever you're witnessing, see if you can sink into that, as if you were able to feel the space between your cells. And then push down into the shins to float up to table, and we'll do the second side. So we'll start by lowering the forearms down, sneaking the right knee forward just a little bit, and then starting to reach the left leg back. Pause, tuck the left toes under, take a couple of breaths here, letting the right leg get used to this work. And then if this feels safe, you can play with exhaling to lift the left foot. And notice the stabilization required in the right leg and hip. The next time left leg lifts, cross it behind the right, come back onto the hands and start to circle the hips. Or do anything that the body's craving. And then start to push into the right hand and the right shin, letting the body open and float to the other side, quarter moon. The top leg can touch the earth or it can rise, whatever feels best, but try to relax here. Even if you're wiggling and wobbling, can bend the right elbow a little bit, getting springy like we practiced. And then release down, squaring off to the mat. Pause for a moment and we'll repeat that exact flow again and then add the down dog. So lower to the forearms. Pause here and breathe. Make sure the right knee is forward of the hip. Start to hover the left leg. Try moving slower, which is going to demand more presence, but also more strength. The next time the leg lifts, cross it behind, float back onto the hands, and take your circles. Notice how circling the hips changes where you feel the sensation, maybe in the back of the hips and then the right IT band. And then as the weight shifts forward, push down into hand and shin, float open into quarter moon. Soften, relax. See if you can tune into a sense of spaciousness here. You can gently reach out in all directions. Check in with the ribs. Make sure they're not flaring. If they are, play with exhaling and noticing the curve of the lumbar spine like we played with on the back, and see if you can find a little more length, allowing the ribs to integrate. And then release everything down, and now we add the staggered down dog. So tuck toes under, unweight the right knee, push into the hands, let the hips go up and back. Option to gently sway from side to side. Keep the hands really soft, and we're still keeping the weight in the pinky side of the hand. That's the kindest on the wrists, it's the springiest in the hands. And then release the right knee down. Last round. It's up to you. You can stay on your hands or you can go down to forearms. Wherever you are, float the left leg. If you want to float and hold and breathe, you can, or you keep pulsing. And then cross the leg behind. Come back onto the hands if you've lowered, and massage the hips. And ever so gently squeeze the inner thighs together and see if you can feel that strength emanate up the spine. And notice how that changes the massage. Maybe you don't go as far in the hip circles. Perhaps you can feel a little more muscular energy. And the next time the weight shifts forward, open up into your quarter moon. And then release back down, tuck toes, and press into your staggered down dog. Step back into plank. Bend both knees and ever so gently start to lift the hips. You can't push too much with the hands, right? Because they'll slide. So see if you can sneakily get your hips weightless. If the hands slide, it's awesome because your core is automatically going to turn on to keep you from falling. So it's a great real world balance challenge, core challenge. And then start to walk one hand in at a time, bending the knees really deeply, coming into a Tanasana. And we're making our way up to standing, so if this isn't comfortable, you can just meet us at standing. If Uttanasana is feeling good, you can gently sway from side to side. Bring a little extra weight into the heels and notice how that helps the hamstrings turn on to support the pelvis. Check in with the back of the neck. Let those muscles release if you feel any tightness. And then start to walk the hands up the legs, slowly supporting yourself. Drop the sits bones towards the heels and roll up one vertebra at a time.